Check one.
No more tears to wipe away, no more fear to bind me. I've been led to find my way. Here I stand in faith and courage to feel what's within me. No more silence, I am free. Surrender to the mystery. You can't control, so let it go. Allow it to simply be here and now, and everything is one with each other. Love is the answer. Know that you're perfect, exactly the way you are. The words you choose to speak, your thoughts, they manifest your life. Will you keep guiding me to be my most highest self? Everything I need is all within me right here, right now. Here I am. My heart is wide open. Receive the love so pure and true. I shine the light bright for you and you and you and you. Surrender to the mystery. You can't control, so let it go. Allow it to simply be here and now, and everything is one with each other. Love is the answer.
Wow. Right here, right now, my heart is wide open. I can't think of truer words that couldn't have been said. Thank you, Sarah, for that. Good morning and welcome to Unity Spokane. We are glad you're here. I'm looking out, for those of us online, I'm looking out at almost a full house here, really. We've got a couple empty seats, but we can always expand, so don't let that stop you from coming. We're all about our mission here at Unity Spokane of transforming lives, inspiring people to make a positive difference in our world. I'm Jeff Taney. I'll be your platform assistant this morning. And one of the things that I'm gonna ask us to do is to silence our phones. If you have an iPhone, there's a little switch on the side. You just flip that switch and that silence it. Or you can actually just take the volume and turn the volume all the way down, and that'll turn that speaker off. So just a little tip for you. As always, we want to begin with our time together sharing our opening affirmation. I will say it once, and then I'll ask you to join me on the second time. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the good. Together? There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the good. This is Unity's foundation principle: one presence, one power, one life, living through and as each one of us. This morning we'll be hearing from our transformational speaker, Reverend Rich Brodersen. Broderhausen? Did I say that? Broderhausen. And his message is titled Sheer Determination. What is it? Why and how do we acquire it, and how can we best use it? Reverend Rich will also be leading us in today's meditation. So now I'm going to hand it off to Hank with news you can use.
Good morning, spiritual family. It's nice to see you all and see so many people here. And to those of you at home, thank you for watching. First, we have our COVID tip of the week. We are now statewide in phase 3, and as Joan mentioned last week, our board has approved allowing up to 50 in the sanctuary. So we have more space, and we have the space for a lot more people here. Now, here's a big change. You want to note this. We are no longer requiring pre-registration online, and we will take, so that means you don't have to sign up, you can just come. And we're going to take the first 50 people who arrive for services prior to 9:55. 10 o'clock, we close the door because we just don't want the service to be disrupted. And I particularly want to speak to you at home, those of you who've been gone now for a year, haven't come back, haven't been in the energy here. It's time to come back. It is just time. I want you to take your power back from the virus. Many of you have been vaccinated. It's time to come back and be here in person. We're building a whole new Unity Spiritual Center, and we need your energy to do it. It's a whole different thing when you're here than you're at home, whole different. So get off your easy chair, get off your couch, and come here. We have room for more people. We've got the Easter services coming up, so it's going to be wonderful. So please come. Now, the bookstore is officially open until noon on Sundays. Amber is now working here Sunday mornings, and she'll be available after the services for anyone who's interested in browsing through the bookstore. We just ask that everyone remains masked and socially distanced while inside the center. So you can do that. Another good reason to come back. Now let's talk about our upcoming Easter services. On Palm Sunday, next Sunday, March 28th, we will be hearing from licensed Unity teacher Karen Dunmore. Karen says she has a surprise in store for us on that day, so be sure to stay tuned for that special event. And then on Good Friday, the following Friday after that, April 2nd at 6 p.m., again, that's 6 p.m., we will be having a special evening service with Karen Dunmore and Julie Cruto, who will be providing music. She's sung here many times before, very powerful, wonderful voice. This person does Good Friday service will be both in person and on virtually stream. So again, we will be allowing about 50 people in the sanctuary. So we hope you guys will come. And as I said last week in my talk, I grew up in Christianity, and I love Easter. To me is a pivotal time of the whole year, and I love Palm Sunday, and I love Good Friday, and I love the Easter Sunday. So I hope you'll come and bring your energy to be part of that. And then finally, join Reverend Deidre Ashmore, formerly assistant minister here on Sunday, Easter Sunday, as she shares a heartfelt and inspiring message on the transformative power of change. She says, quote, "We have all been in the tomb this past year. What has your tomb experience brought you? How has your life changed for the better? Can you recognize the blessings in a new way of being in your own resilient resurrection? Together, we will deepen our understanding of Jesus' demonstration of transformation to embrace our own Christ consciousness." So please come and let's make it a full house, wonderful Easter service. I have to tell you this morning that we have more people here, and the energy is just wonderful. It's just having people present, bring your love and energy. It makes such a difference. So please come and add to that. And then finally, Reverend Rich Broderhausen, our speaker today, will be joining our Reflections, Observation, and Inspiration Zoom call after services today. This call is an opportunity for our virtual audience to connect and engage with each other and our transformational speaker, who today is Rich. So we encourage you to join us at the number of the screen, on your screen, right there it is, right after services. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce someone who needs no introduction because you already know him, and that's Reverend Rich Broderhausen.
Thank you, Hank, and thank you, Jeff, and thank you all who are here. You are a reflection of me, and that's because there's this huge thing right here in front of me. It feels like, if I stepped into it, I could become one of those robots, like on Avatar. You've seen that one. This is really, this is a trip for all of you, and I appreciate the fact that all that has gone into keeping everything going the way that it has been going here, keeping the community together, keeping the family together. So you're all to be applauded for that, and so I applaud you for doing that. And today's talk, when I hear the fact that I'm supposed to be a transformational speaker, that's kind of like, I look around and see, where is this guy? And the truth of the matter is, I find it's only when I can get out of the way that anything really happens. And so this idea of sheer, what's the title of the talk today? Sheer determination. Thank you. I was determined to get that. Sheer determination. What is it? Do we all know what sheer determination is? You break your leg, you're out 100 miles in the woods from anybody. Do you just lay there and die? What do? You figure out how to get your leg fixed up with some type of tying. You have to rip up a shirt, whatever it is, and find some sticks so you keep your legs straight, and you drag yourself. And it's happened to people. They've dragged themselves miles and miles and miles. Why? Because they are absolutely determined. Because it's a matter of life or death to them. How about that? We've all heard the stories about a woman whose child is under the tire of a car, right? And what does she do? She doesn't even think about it. She just knows she can lift it. She's sheerly determined. So the sheer determination is like a matter of life and death. Have you ever been in that situation? Most of you have. Many of you have. No matter what happens, absolutely nothing can get in your way. Is there anything like that going in your life right now? I see some heads bobbing here, maybe some heads bobbing out there. Good morning, by the way, all of you people out there in Zoom land. Is it Zoom land? YouTube land, whatever land that where you are. We've all read about things. We've all had perhaps experiences. Maybe you've been through very, very tough times in your life. And you get to the point where you think, I just can't go on anymore. And then you hear that voice. Maybe not audible, but that voice inside of you says, yeah, you can. You've got it. You can do this. You can do this. Sheer determination. A matter of life and death, perhaps. I have a couple videos that I would like to show you. The first one, it's very, very short. And it has to do with, and I'm going to ask, I'm going to ask you a question later after we watch this. So we'll bring this up. You see what's going on here? In the time it takes to watch this video, Matt Smith will have sheared a sheep. He spent 9 hours doing this repeatedly to break a record, which was beamed to a global audience via webcams. Don't you just love that sheep? And how many did he shear? A world-beating 731. That's one sheep every 44 seconds. And that's the video. So what would we call that? Are you sure? I thought we would call it sheer determination. So, what would inspire somebody to spend 9 hours doing that? Was that a matter of life or death? 731 sheep. Can you imagine how exhausted he was after that? He wanted to set a world record. He wanted to be the best. How many people in here want to be the best? Oh, a couple, reluctant, maybe. Maybe a third one back there wants to be the best. Is there something wrong with being the best? Well, you know, in this day where we're dealing with so much competition, if we can remove competition from the idea of being the best, perhaps it's just being the best you that you can possibly be. So how many people really want to be the best? Yeah, we want to be the best us that we can possibly be. Absolutely no question about that. What keeps us from that? Is anybody here already the best? You know, I heard in the song that you're perfect just the way that you are. Well, I have a hard time believing that. Not about you, but about me. Because I know how I am. I know what I go through on a daily basis. I know when my little hairs go up on the back of my neck, or I get a little bit triggered by something, or I just know that I'm not being my best. The song refers to, though, something very, very deep, and that is the truth of who that we are, which we often forget in this world of dueling energies, where something has to be good or something has to be bad, where somebody has to be good or somebody has to be bad, or somebody has to be a jerk or somebody is a wonderful person. There's lots of dueling energies. There's lots of push and pull. There's rejection. There's attraction. And there's more. What keeps us from being the best us that we can be? Do we believe that we can be the best us that we can be? Okay, well, that's where it starts. Well, they say faith. Faith as a mustard seed. Jesus said if you have faith as a mustard seed, but, the mustard seed just doesn't sit there. It gets planted in the ground, doesn't it? And it grows. And it grows. So we have to believe that we can grow. We have to believe that we can express in a better and better way. I suppose nobody remembers the last time I was here, except, well, maybe a couple people do. And that was just the Sunday before Christmas. And on that Sunday before Christmas, I did a lot of self-confessing because I wanted to be ready to receive the fullness of the Christ that I could receive on Christmas Day, which is, it's a personal thing for us, and how we allow that Christ presence within us, how we recognize it, how we go to it, how we feel it, how we know it. And I mentioned that for myself, I needed to let go of some, what we don't call, well, I guess I did call them sins, and please forgive me for that. But I talked about missing the mark, and these 5 human things that drag us down. Criticism, condemnation, judgment, blame, and gossip. And the reason I talked about those so fully is because I had a lot of work to do. I retired over a year ago from full-time ministry, and I got lazy during that year. And so I was doing a bit of judging, quite a bit of judging. When you're speaking, and this is what I find for myself, when I get up and I speak in front of people and I give a message, I know that message is for me. And so how can I expect you to respond to it if I don't respond to it? So I do. And so I worked hard on that so that I could, be at this point here. We were then preparing for Christmas. Well, did anybody work on those besides me? A few people. Good. A few people remember that. And so, that's important work to do because, well, does anybody watch the news? Some people watch the news. Well, I thought that the weight of the country was upon my shoulders last year, and that I had to know what was going on. And then I recalled, well, this morning I thought, well, if no news is good news, then why am I watching the news? You might take that one with you a little bit. So actually in the last about 2.5 weeks now, I have not been watching the news. It's refreshing. And it's refreshing because I don't have to take on the weight of the world. I don't have to see man's inhumanity to man. I don't have to look at that. I don't have to bring that into my consciousness. And when I look at the paper, I go to the sports page. What can I tell you? And I go because there's a team in town that some of you may have heard of. It's amazing to me how many people don't watch Gonzaga basketball, but I know a lot of us do. And I just basically put the rest of the newspaper aside. I've only been doing that for a week, however. But I'm going to invite you to do that because I'd like to show the next video.
An excess of wool was really weighing this boy down. It had clearly been years since this wild sheep had a good shear. He was found in the Australian forest by a member of the public who knew he needed some help. Edgar's Mission Farm Sanctuary in Victoria went out looking for him, and he was not hard to find. They say he probably once did have an owner because he used to have an ear tag, but a life in the wild was taking its toll. He was underweight, and wool covering his face made it hard for him to see. Rescuers named him Barak, and once they got him back to their farm, the buzzer came out. When all was said and done, Barak lost more than 70 pounds of wool. That's about half the weight of an adult kangaroo. He's now settling into his new home at the sanctuary, where he will surely never have to worry about missing a haircut again. For Inside Edition Digital, I'm Mara Montalbano.
So now we know what happened to the lost sheep, right? Can you? Oh, I'm sorry. Well, not really, Well, it's interesting because when I started preparing for this talk a few weeks ago, which I can hardly believe that I would prepare for a talk 2 weeks in advance, but the idea of sheer determination kept coming into my mind, this shearing of sheep, because I read a book about some folks in Australia that was a family. I read this years and years, probably 50 years ago, that they sheared sheep. So I was interested in this combination of and being able to share with you that this first video was sheer determination. So there you go. At any rate, you look at this sheep that was lost. How many of you have ever felt lost? 70 pounds of wool. An average sheep, I guess, what is it? They have to have to be meeting the records that they're meeting. They need about 4 pounds to 6 pounds of wool that will come off of a sheep. So it makes me think about all of the baggage that I've accumulated for myself over the years, and what this process of sheer determination has to do with my personal self. So if we know that sheer determination is, come hell or high water, I am going to accomplish this. And we know that we have a lot of baggage that we have dropped off from us over many years. Some come in without too much baggage, hopefully, and don't have to accumulate it. What are we doing? What are we doing here? And here it is, the Easter season. Sorry, I'm just peering at the clock there. So here it is, Easter season. And 2 weeks from now is Easter. Did anybody read their daily word for today? You usually read that. Do you read it later in the service? No, you used to read it, I thought. Well, that's interesting. So the daily word for today is forgive. And I'm just going to read it fairly quickly. I extend forgiveness to myself. So let's start there. That's the best place to start. Throughout my life, I have forgiven those who have hurt and disappointed me. Yes? Totally? Completely? There's no one that's not safe in the streets of your mind? Everybody's safe there. Okay, we've gotten to that point. In turn, I've been grateful when others extended understanding and forgiveness to me. And even though I have learned to be forgiving with others, I may still find it difficult to forgive myself for mistakes I've made, disappointments I've caused, and commitments I have broken. Today, let us open our hearts, and with love and compassion, let us forgive ourselves. Let's affirm that together. I forgive myself. Together? I forgive myself. No. I forgive myself. Oh, yes. A very forgiving bunch here. Today, open my heart, and with love and compassion, I forgive myself. I remind myself that everyone makes mistakes and deserves understanding and forgiveness, even me. I remember how the prodigal son's father received him with joy when he came home. This joy is mine when I let go of self-condemnation and finally come home to myself. But while he was still far off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion. This is from Luke. And he ran and put his arms around him and kissed him. Who's come home? Who's come home? Uh-oh. Who's on their way home? Okay, we are. Last week, I listened to Hank's message. Thank you for that message last week, Hank. Reconciling ourselves with Christianity. And he kept talking about coming home. You remember that? It was kind of a refrain that came through. He didn't identify where home was, but he kept talking about coming home. So where's home? You know, there's a song, I think, that says, come home to yourself. Come home. What is that self that we want to come home to? Is it the self that's got the 70 pounds of wool that we're still carrying around from wandering out there lost? Or is it the freshly shaved sheep? They probably like a little more wool than just being totally bald. But is it the one that's been freed, that the burdens have been lifted from? And where do we go to find that self? We do. We go within, don't we? And what is that within that we talk about? In Unity, we talk about the I am, the capital I, the capital A, the capital M, which we can also call the Christ that is within. And it's not a Christ that's just, within our bodies. This is our consciousness. All of life is consciousness. And so your consciousness, my consciousness, your consciousness, we're all intertwined in this same consciousness. There's really only one consciousness. We have said it in Unity for years. There's only one mind. There's only one presence. There's only one power. And we choose to call that God, but you can call that by any name that you want to call, or no name at all. Often we choose to call that presence, that power, simply love. When we feel love, we know God is touching us. That's when we feel at home. And so how do we express that love today? Do we have sheer determination to express that? Let's take a look at our way shower, Jesus the Christ. So he's getting a little ahead of the Lenten season, but this idea of forgiveness, let's think about Jesus when he was in the garden. He left his disciples. He may have wondered if they would ever really understand what he was talking about. And he was in the garden alone. He pulled his cloak over his head. And he said, Father, if this can pass from me, let it pass. He didn't need to do that to recompense for the sins of humanity. Granted, maybe a lot of the stuff was washed away by what he did. But in the garden, what did he say? He said, not my will, but thy will be done. And so what is determination? Where is that power that we have? Where is that power of determination? Isn't it our will? We do have free will, but we have personal will. And every time I make a choice to not see the divinity, anytime I make a choice to not see the Christ in everyone, no matter what they've done, what they look like, who they are, where they live, what they believe, every time that I make that choice not to see their divinity, then, to use another biblical reference, I am eating of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. I am judging in some way. Not that we shouldn't be discerning, not that we look past things that are done wrong or things that we see that are quote unquote evil. But it is in the oneness of our humanity, and that was one of the other themes of this song, that we are one. And if we are one in consciousness, then we are one in soul. We are one in heart. We are one in love. We are one in this presence and this power of God. And so what does our world call upon us to do right now? What can we do? It appears that with what's going on in the world, from past news that I used to watch and read, that we're in what we would call deep yogurt or something of that nature. So what can we do? What is our determination? What is our sheer determination? Do we have a sheer determination? Do we want to, quote unquote, save humanity? And how do we do that? First of all, do we want to, we don't want to necessarily be saviors, but do we want to do our part to save humanity? We, as Hank mentioned last week, he talked about this golden age that we've moved into. Well, a lot of us marked that at the end of the Mayan calendar was 2012, and we moved into the next golden age. We have, and I have faith, and I believe that we're going to come through this, and 100 years from now, this world will be absolutely different. That there will be a land and a world where we love each other, where we take care of each other, where we nurture each other, where we understand each other, where we forgive each other. I love that Marianne Williamson quote that says, until you don't know someone until you know their darkness. And you really do not know how to love until you have forgiven them their darkness. I believe we will come to that point where we're in heaven on earth. Right now, we're going through some birthing pains. And if anybody's studied anything about what happens at the beginning of a golden age, you could probably figure for 25 years, while you're waking up, there's a lot of junk in your eyes, and you don't feel like you're moving quite right and all that. You're not quite ready to get out of bed and rejoice, right? Like you do every morning, jump out of bed. I used to when I was younger. now I just kind of roll over, you know. So what do? There are sheerly determined people who are doing a lot of different things to help other people in this world right now. Some of us maybe don't feel called to do that. You know, there is the will that I talked about, and in Unity we talk about the will, which is a power, a 12th power, that actually in our body is centered right in our forehead here. Maybe it's the pituitary gland, I'm not absolutely sure of that. And we also talk about a very closely related power that is right between our eyes, which is our imagination. And so what we can do, if we don't feel called to go down and get in the food line, if we don't go called to go down and sort food at the food bank, or we're just not called to do that. And believe me, when we are called to do something, we know we are, right? We have that sheer determination to accomplish something, to do something. There was a song that's it's called, what is it called? Did you get it yet? No? Okay. Let's see if I can. Oh, yes. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. I see me running through that open door. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. I believe. Whatever it is that we want to see in this world, we must first of all not only have faith, we also have to believe it. And we have to see it, the power of imagination. And so right here, right now, and every day, we have the power to change the world, which we know is changing. Trust me, we are moving forward. We are way beyond where we were 2,000 years ago. Jesus came, he gave us a message. He didn't accomplish the whole task, unfortunately, but guess who's here? You, and you, and you, and you, and me. And so, I think what I want to do is just kind of cut to the quick. And that is to share with you a meditation. And this meditation comes from Radiant Rose Academy. It's a meditation that I have found to be very powerful for myself, and I would hope that it would be powerful for you too. If you might want a copy of it later on, that's up to you. If you go online, and if you're online, and you can always pull up the YouTube of today's service, or you can just go in your own mind in your own way and recognize that if you and I have the sheer determination to make this world a better place, and believe me, sometimes I don't feel like I have that sheer determination. Where does that come from? It really does come from the power of our will, our personal will. Is it important? Is it important? And then can we see it? If I can see it, I can believe it. If I can believe it, I can see it. Gandhi said, if you want to see it, be it. And so I invite you to just, what we're going to do is go into a time of meditation here. I'm going to sit, and I would ask you just to close your eyes, as meditation might last a little bit longer than you think. Ordinarily it would last, but I think we got plenty of time. And so I would like you to just take some deep breaths and get into that place where you go. Feel the presence within you. Access that power to see, that power to will, and let us involve ourselves in this meditation. Relax and just let go. Together we enter into a meditation for the people of the world, a vision for the world. And in this meditation, in this world vision, let us start with the truth. The truth is, we are grateful that we are waking up. I am grateful that I am waking up. And I am grateful to know that part of me that is invisible. When we feel love, God is touching us. So let's feel that love of God as we move further into this meditation. I am grateful to know that part of myself that is invisible. That is the I in the midst of me. That part of me is the infinite individualization of Mother, Father, God. It is the best part of me. I in the midst of me. It is that I that was one with the Father in Jesus' life. And in this world vision meditation, I speak from that centerpiece of my own inner sanctum, from the I that I am, knowing the truth that this mighty I that abides within me at the center of my consciousness, that same I, that very same I, the individualization of the Divine Father, abides at the center of every person on earth, as well as those waiting for embodiment. Through the consciousness I am, I can commune with the consciousness of all the people of earth. In my current evolution, I cannot be everywhere, but life can be everywhere. Air is everywhere. And like air is my own consciousness. My consciousness is like the air that is everywhere. And from my consciousness and through the activity of my consciousness, which is everywhere, I speak into the heart and mind of the people of earth. people of earth, I urge you to know that you are loved, that you are not left, that you are not left alone. That there is a presence that is so precious within each of you. I say to you, people of earth, I am in you is the same I am in every person. We are everywhere, and we are God individualized. And us, the I am, all of us, we seek to come forth, to release your life from the prisons and chains of the outer world, from the weight of the outer world. People of earth, withdraw your eyes from the outer world and look within. And know the truth that you are loved. That it is time to stop placing human qualities on God. God loves you. And the essentials of your being, of your soul, of your spirit, seek to be liberated. O people of earth, spread your wings and rise up. Let not the world make you small at this hour. Expand your wings of peace and harmony. Know that throughout the universe is the greater. People of earth, know that you are spiritual beings. Know that you can turn your soul to the Heavenly Father, the Heavenly Mother, and ask for guidance, for food, for shelter, for healing, for peace. Beloved, precious citizens of the world, I am in me is the same presence in you. Everywhere. Forever. And together the I am goes out before us to gather unto you all that is required, all the necessities of your life. People of earth, let not the world hypnotize you. Rather, withdraw your attention back to your families, your home, your God, your animals, your loved ones. Know that angels are real and welcome them into your lives. Lift and raise your hearts. Give up your judgments upon each other. And know that within every one of you there is a sacred path. And it is a path that leads you home to whatever that concept may be in your mind. There is a path that leads you home. It is a path that leads you back to your everything. People of the world, I am all, and I am everything, and I am within you and around you. Together let us look within, and let us look up. People of the world, together let us make our lives a holy grail and receive the abundance of God's treasures flowing into our lives. Food for everyone. Healthy water for everyone. And a home for everyone. Withdraw your arms, your weapons, and know, people of the world, there is a sacred place within your hearts, an inner sanctum within your consciousness. You are all spiritual, infinite beings. You are all spiritual, infinite beings. Together with beings of light and love from beyond, we, you and I, have come to rebuild this world. And so gently return your awareness back to this space, or the space that you are in, wherever you are. I am. Capital I, capital A, capital M. Same within you and me. The same within each of us. Call it the Christ. Call it the core of love that we are. It is up to us how to best use your sheer commitment. I've long said that the problems that we are facing in this world will not be solved on this level that we see around us. The solution is a spiritual solution. And we are spiritual beings with powers that we have yet untapped. May you be determined to untap them for all of us. God bless you. Amen.
Am I strong enough to bear the burdens that sometimes come living this thing called life? Am I wise enough to make the right decisions when I'm standing at the fork in the road? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Will I have enough to do the things I need to do to take care of myself? Will I have the health of mind and body to live a life of grace and wholeness? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place.
I am the place where God
You
lives,
are the place.
moves and breathes and has
We
its
are the
being.
place
I am the place
where God shows up. I am the place.
I am the place where God
You are the
moves and
place.
breathes and has
We
its
are the
being.
place
I am the place
where God shows up. I want you to clap your hands and sing it with me. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up.
Eddie Watkins, Husk, can I have some more of that? Can we have some more of that? A little more? A little more.
I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up.
Eddie Watkins!
Well, thank you. Thank you, Rich. When you mentioned sheer determination, the vision image came to me was a movie I saw a couple years ago called Free Solo. It was about a gentleman by the name of Alex Tenold who climbed thousands of feet of El Capitan without any ropes, without any help, without any assistance. And I actually knew one of the three men that climbed El Capitan for the first time with ropes, with help. And you talk about determination and the willpower and the tools that they developed to help them do those things, right? And it immediately took me to the place where we talk about our affirmations and our statements and our prayers, our unity statement. These are all tools that help us as part of our daily practice to develop the things that we need in order to have that feeds and assists us in that determination. So it's really cool when you kind of put all that together. Anyways, our unity statement is this. Unity stands for peace in the presence of conflict, love in the presence of hatred, and forgiveness in the presence of injury. Unity honors the many names for God, the many paths to God, for we know that there is only one power, one presence, one life. So whoever you are and wherever you are in your spiritual journey of transformation, you are welcomed here. If you're new to our ministry and interested in learning more about upcoming transformational speakers, workshops, and events, you may sign up for our email newsletter by texting Unity Spokane to 22828. Or you can sign up, you can go to the unityspokane.org website and sign up there as well. Now I'd like to just take a moment and we do our greeting, our social distance namaste greeting. If you will all stand and just take a moment to greet those around you. Thank you. Okay, now is the time to celebrate the abundance that we have together as we share gifts and love offerings. For those that are here and feel the divine calling to give, there is a basket at the back of the sanctuary here that you can drop your offering. If you would like to do that remotely, you can also do that through text message. As I've said before, I do this every week. You text the word give, G-I-V-E, to the following number, 253-528-7416. It's very simple to do. It's like the first time, actually every time it's really super easy. You can also go to unityspokane.org and click on the donate button at the top. You can also just also know that your giving means so much to us, to the vitality of our ministry. With that in mind, let us take a moment now to sink into our hearts and bring forth the feeling of gratitude and generosity as we say our love offering blessing. I know that my giving blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give and receive. I give thanks for the abundance that is mine to share. Our chaplains today are Marlene, who is holding virtual service and prayer from home, and Theodora, who is holding space for here in the sanctuary. Thank you so much to Marlene and Theodora for your service today. We would also like to encourage anyone who is in need of prayer support to please submit your request through our online form. You can simply go to, again, unityspokane.org and click on the main page. There's a prayer form that you can complete. Not only will that be part of our local prayer groups, but it'll also be part of the Silent Unity prayer support. Okay, so Hank's going to come back up here and got a little special video.
Okay, so we're going to revive something we used to do all the time, and that is to celebrate people's birthdays. So Caleb, can we have that slide up? There we go. So if you were born in March, in the sanctuary, stand up. If you were at home and you're born in March, stand up anyway. All right, now we have it. So we're going to celebrate this. We don't have live music to do it, but we have this fun video to watch. Go ahead and roll it, Caleb.
It's the day that you were born. It's the day your mama brought you home. It's a special day. Let us celebrate. Yeah. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. I'm gonna celebrate with you. Time to celebrate. Tell everybody. Come on, y'all. Come on and celebrate on your birthday. Come on, y'all. Hey.
Okay, so now we can sit down and catch our breath. Okay, so it's time for our prayer protection. And let us all join together for our closing prayer. We'll also be followed by the peace song. So I'm going to ask you all to stand. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And that's the truth.
Keep going, okay? Those at home, we're going to have a Zoom call, and Reverend Rich will be on there. You can talk to him about his wonderful message today called the ROI, the number's up there. So for those of you here in the sanctuary, it's just you just need to file on out. But if those of you can spend a few minutes to help us, we have a youth education project going on in the chapel, and we're assembling all these cool Easter eggs and stuff to take that we're going to deliver to the kids this week. So if you could stand and help us, we've got a whole bunch of stuff to give them. So anybody has time to stand and help us, you can just go right back to the chapel and join us. That'd be great. Thank you all for coming.